Hello, my friends. It's Soulful Saturday. Come on in. It is Soulful Saturday. You ready for this? Come on in. I'm just waiting for all my friends to come on in. It is Soulful Saturday. Soulful Saturday. I love Soulful Saturday. And I got a couple of things that I want to talk about today. Who's here? Say hello. Wow, it's slow. Marla was talking about this the other day and saying that it just seemed like people are really taking a lot longer to get into her Facebook Lives, and I've noticed the same thing. I don't know what's going on. I've also noticed that there's been an extraordinary amount of Facebook Watch things happening in our sprint groups and in some other groups, and it's just very odd to me. So I think something's up. Something's up with Facebook. That's just an observation. It's not I'm not saying that it's the truth. Hi, Joanne. Happy Soulful Saturday to you too. And there's my friend Faye. Good to see you. Hi, Moxie. I haven't seen you in a while. Glad to see you. Moxie's in New Zealand, you guys. So we've got people from everywhere. Come on in. Who else is here? Say hello. Hi, Jamma. Good to see you. And here they come, here they come, here they come. So today, too, just FYI, I'm letting you know that I am using I'm not using our Wi-Fi here because I have seen it when I looked at the replays, the picture goes in and out. So I'm just doing this like right off my phone's data. So let's see how this does today. So what do you think of the new hair, huh? I cut off about 18 inches. It feels like it anyway. Not quite, but feels good. Feels good to get rid of a lot of that hair. Thanks, Emily. Emily likes it. Hi, Sarah. Good to see you. Gosh, come on in, everybody. We got some things to do. And it took me like less than 5 minutes to blow dry it. Hello. No, this is why people go with short hair, right? Hi, Sandy. Hi, Jane. And Doris is here. Yay. Thank you. It feels really good. It's nice. There's Hanneke. Hanneke is our physician from Germany, and she's been really great in helping out in our sprint. She's always got something to say, which I always appreciate. Plus, she's a dedicated sprinter, and she's gotten her own results. So, when people show up and give some help on that, I just think it's really great. There's Kim. Hi, Dr. Kim. She's in the house. Thank you, Donna. I appreciate that. Yeah, it feels good. I mean, it just, getting rid of all that hair. So anyway, it feels really good. Mark was, I think, a little surprised when I walked out with, missing about 6 inches of hair. So let's get started because today's day, I want to start a little bit with we have a new quote. It's Soulful Saturday. So we always start with a new quote. Hi, Kathy, Delilah. Good to see everybody. So good to see everybody. We start the sprint on Monday. You guys know that, right? Are you ready for it? Are you ready for the sprint? Listen, I'm going to tell you 2 things, all right? 2 very important things. Even if you're not going to get it in time on Monday, you would probably get it by Wednesday if you order today. And this is what it is, okay? That's getting L-glutamine ordered and getting hot melt mix ordered. Okay, you want to know why? Especially, and you know what, I want to say this I am not carb shaming anyone, but if you are going to go transition from being a carb burner to being a fat burner and you've been on a lot of carbs and a lot of sugar and you have cravings and this, that, and the other thing, I'm going to tell you right now, one of the best things that you can do for yourself is get some L-glutamine. L-glutamine is it's an amino acid, but it also has the capability of cutting off physiologically those cravings that we have. As a matter of fact, I put it in a little dish like that. See that? I put it here and I would demonstrate, except then I'd be stuck with it. But you just wet your finger, you put it on your teeth and your gums and your tongue, and that craving is dashed. I'm serious. This stuff is amazing. I also put it in my smoothies in the morning. And then hot melt mix would be another thing, simply because hot melt mix has all your electrolytes in it with a little MCT oil, as well as all of those exogenous ketones to help that transition and not have you go through the carb flu. Those 2 things, those would be my big get them today things. We've got plenty in stock and we're happy to send them out. That's all I'm saying about that. So speaking of which, this is my hot melt mix. Everybody is prepping. And I'm going to give you another thing. If you want to join the sprint and you look at it and you go, oh my gosh, I don't have enough time to make my broccoli sprouts. I don't have enough time to do the bone broth. Here it is, the sprint simplified. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Just super easy. Buy your bone broth, skip the sprouts and just chop up some broccoli. Buy prepped salad all ready to go. And then just chop up a few other things. Buy some avocados. Yeah, get this stuff done. Just make it easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. That's what Jenny wrote today in today's in her email today. I loved it. So the other thing that I have to say to you is to save the date. This is our event that we're doing right here in Brevard, North Carolina. You fly into Asheville, and then you get to meet all of your girlfriends. Am I right? Is this all of our girlfriends? This is going to be the event of the year. Sorry, everybody else who has huge, massive events. Our little event is going to be the event of the year because it is our tribe, our community coming together in the flesh. And it starts really April 17th with the VIP meet and greet. And believe me, there's going to be wine, there's going to be appetizers, there's going to be all the things. And then April 18th is our whole day. It's workshop, teaching, community. You will get some of my homemade bone broth. That's a promise. You'll also get a smoothie in the morning. You will be fed, but you're on your own for lunch. But I will say we will have box lunches for purchase. Anyway, I just have to tell you, it is going to be an event. So save that date and be watching for our email. That'll give you all the details on it. That will be coming likely next week or so. Yeah, Kettle and Fire is a good brand. Pacific has a good brand. There are so many things going on that are out there that you can get bone broth. I mean, you can buy it at Costco, for heaven's sakes. Everybody's got bone broth now. So go get some. You can buy it, for heaven's sakes. A little pink salt, little sriracha. We're in business. I'll tell you this. We have lots of collagen, in this particular sprint. And it's because it's going to help you feel better, right? It's going to help you feel better. And everything, all the information is right there at savingdinner.com. Just go there and you'll see the little banner. Click on it. And if this is your first time, go grab it. The second or fourth time and you found the emails on a daily basis helpful, then go grab it again. Because we don't have the technology to say, oh, sure, we'll do it again for you. We're like that. So sorry about that. So guess what? We have a new quote of the week, and this one's got me. This one has got me. And I had a different quote, and then I saw this morning in my Facebook feed, and I'm going to tell you what, I cannot believe it's an unattributed quote, but I'm putting it out there because it's just too good not to see. If God put Goliath in front of you, he must believe there's a David inside of you. Did that clobber you just like it did me? I'm telling you, it actually gave me chills and put tears in my eyes because there is so much to this. And it's like going back into my radio days when I was at KBRT in Los Angeles. And I had to, whenever I did something, I would have to go do my research and bring it all out. Like I had to, because I had to prepare for an hour radio show every single day. And so I did this with this quote because this quote just got right under my skin. And today is Soulful Saturday. It's our new quote. It is the best lesson, I think, for us. And I want you to take notes on this. I want you to listen to this broadcast again. I want you to share this broadcast with anybody and everyone that you know, because this lesson, if we can grasp it, is the game changer. This lesson is the lesson that has the ability to completely change your life, okay? Because it's all about perspective. Again, perspective always plays into it, doesn't it? So Goliath, as we know, in the olden days, he was a Philistine. He was a 6'9" Philistine. Scary. Nobody wanted to mess with the Philistines because these guys had a reputation. They had a reputation. They were brutal. They wiped out entire tribes of people. They were not someone to play with. So when word came about that this big guy Goliath, like the biggest of all these warrior Philistines, was going to come and take them out, here's this little shepherd boy, David, who is the one that is going to go up, has decided that he's going to be the one to go up against him. And so we know the story, right? And we know how he fells him with just one stone to the forehead, and that's it. Goliath is wiped out, and he's a hero. And then David goes on, of course, to become the king of Israel and all of that. We know those stories. We know all of David's weaknesses. We know about all of his strengths. But the story in context right now for us to take away and for us to apply into our lives is to understand that our biggest obstacles in our lives are the ones that we turn into Goliaths. They are the obstacles that we put, the words that we use, and as a matter of fact, I wrote this down, is we look at our obstacles and we declare them to be overwhelming, don't we? Overwhelming like a 6'9" Philistine coming into your life. When we declare the fact that when we say, I am overwhelmed, I just can't do it, it's just too hard, it's just everything. Remember what we're doing here. What we're doing at that point is that we are collecting evidence to support the case that it's just not going to work out for us. So the fact that life is always working out for us and working out on our behalf is just not true for us. We are the exception, is what we're saying. We are saying that this great big old giant that's in our lives is not, we cannot be those Davids. We cannot overcome this. So when we say that we're overwhelmed, we are actually placing evidence in our lives that it's not going to work out for us. Now keep that in mind, because we're going to talk about what this was all about with David and Goliath. So here he is, this big old 6'9" Philistine. And how do you think he showed up into that little village, right? Do you think he just strolled in there and, went and grabbed a cappuccino and then chatted with all the villagers? Or did you think he went in there with one purpose? His one purpose was death. He was on a death march. And he came in as the warrior he was. He had on all of his armor, and he had everything on him. He had his great big sword, and he was ready to wipe people out. So keep that in mind. And then there's David. Who is David? He's a little shepherd boy. He's young. He's nimble. He's out in the fields. He watches over sheep. He's very astute, because he knows that he has to count every single one of those sheep. He is accountable for those sheep. So he knows what's going on with all of those sheep. If he sees one that has gone astray, he knows which one it is, and he goes and finds it. So this is David. So Goliath is this ginormous, huge warrior that walks in to take over. And you know what? The thing that we're not looking at, he can't see. Goliath can't see. He's got this big helmet on. He cannot see. So he is a blind, big ass obstacle ready to just wipe everybody out. And he can't see. He's also weighed down. He's got armor on him. He's got huge, massive armor on him. So he can barely walk. He's holding a sword that's as big as he is, and he can barely wield that sword. He's this huge monster, 6'9" is what they said the Philistines were in that time, with all of this metal and everything hanging on him. And yet, you've got this little shepherd boy who has a sling in his hand. One very effective weapon. One very effective weapon that he has expertise in. What do you think he was using out in those shepherd's fields? He was using this weapon to get rid of wolves, to get rid of other predators. He knew what to do. He counted those sheep. He was accountable to those sheep and knew each one of them. And he was able to keep the predators away from them. He was good at what he did. So when he sees this predatory, huge warrior come in, who's blinded and can't see, who's weighed down, he knows that he has the advantage. He's quick, he's nimble, he's effective, and he's got the tool. This is us. This is us. We all have those Goliaths in our lives, don't we? We all have Goliaths in our lives, but we also have the weaponry, the effective weaponry, just like David did. We know how to be accountable. We know the things that we are responsible for. And we know how to keep those predators away from our family and away from our lives. And now it's time for us to keep the predators and the obstacles away from our own selves. The things that get in the way of our self-care and the things that get in our way of loving ourselves enough to do the things that we want to do and to stop doing the things that we don't want to do. That's where we get stuck. And we think that it's just we can't overcome this. We don't understand that that obstacle is weighed down. It's weighed down by all of that armor. It's weighed down by that huge big sword that's ineffective against the nimble, effective slingshot of a studied and an acutely on target shooter. And that was David. And that is you. Because that would be you if your child were in danger. You would be able to pull that car right off that kid, wouldn't you? You bet you would. You would be able to, your knowing knows when your child is in a good situation or a bad situation. And I know that if I spoke to every single one of you mothers, one by one, and asked you, was there a time in your life where you knew that you needed to pull your child out of this situation because it wasn't good for them? You didn't have overwhelming evidence. You just had that knowing, that intuitive knowing inside. You have that knowing and that intuitive knowing inside to be effective against the Goliaths in your life. You do. You do. And you're not pulling that slingshot out of your back pocket. And that slingshot is to flip the discussion that's going on in your head. We talked about that before. And I just talked about just a minute ago this idea of I'm overwhelmed, I can't do it, it's too hard, and the ongoing conversation. Those are your Goliaths. Those words are taking you and pinning you down and holding you hostage. Your brain is only going to cooperate with what you give it. You know, remember when I gave you the example about the piano players? You know, the pianists, not just piano players, but actual pianists, that when they thought about playing a piece and the emotion that went with it, they just closed their eyes and just went with it. They knew, they saw, they felt all of the emotion, all of the things that went into playing a beautiful piece without playing it. And then the pianists who played it, of course, played it beautifully. And they showed the different scans in their heads of people playing versus people who didn't play. And the same parts of their brains lit up. So what happens inside of our brain is our brains already register this emotion. It's all as if it happened. So when you say I'm overwhelmed, it's as if you're already pinned under that rock. Your brains you're looking for evidence to keep you there. And so what we do is we accidentally handcuff ourselves and we hold our own selves hostages. We're the ones with the key to those handcuffs. We are. And that's what I want you to see. And I say to you this, over and over again, but here on Soulful Saturday, I'm going to say to you in a very strong way that you have this power within your heart, it's within your beautiful self. Our beautiful self holds and houses our soul. It holds and houses our empathy. It holds and houses our knowing inside. We have that. And so many of us have the only reason we haven't developed it is because we think that the Goliath is running the show, when all along it's David. And one more thing, and it's the biggest part that fits into this. Whose side was God on, right? Was it Goliath or was it David? Was it the little guy with this very expert shot, or was it Goliath? God is in our corner at every single turn. He's never going to leave you. He's never going to abandon you. So don't abandon yourself. We abandon ourselves when we give in to this idea of being overwhelmed. And now I'm not saying that you don't have a lot on your plate. I'm not saying that it's not a lot. I'm not trying to diminish or dismiss all the things. I'm not. I'm just here to say to you that it is not Goliath. It is not. It is not the big thing that you think it is. It might be a lot, but there's always opportunity for you to pull out your slingshot and to take it down. There is no reason on God's green earth that anything needs to hold you back from what it is that you want in your life. When we're trying to create the life that we want to live, that's vibrant, that's playing full out, that's participating in every part of our lives, then we have to recognize that Goliath is weighed down. Goliath's weapons are ineffective, and that God is on our side, and we're darn good shots. You see that? Do you feel that? Do you see the difference between you and David? And do you see that he has put that in you? If you have a Goliath in your world, God has enabled you just as much as he's enabled David to be able to take it out. I'm sorry, but to me that is transformational. It is. That to me is that lights me up, because it makes me feel so not alone. You know? We're not alone. Ever. And not only that, but David was a part of a tribe. He had a community. And they didn't believe in him at first, but boy, did they believe in him after. And, you know, if you have people in your little tribe, the real life one, in your house who don't believe in you, and there you go again, you're on another diet. There it is. There is a tribe here who already is celebrating you right now today, and you haven't even pulled out your slingshot, you know? You haven't even pulled it out, and yet they still love you to overflowing, and they haven't even met you yet. That's the people you want to be hanging out with. That's your tribe. That's the community you've been looking for, because we need that in our lives. We're built for it. All right? So don't let the Goliaths in your world get you down. Remember, inside of you is a David. God put it there. God put it there himself on purpose to see you have your magnificent moment of pulling out that slingshot and just laying it out. And I know with every fiber in my being that you have the ability to do this. You do. It's all inside of you, given to you as the gift from God himself. I hope that blessed you. It sure blessed me, just preparing for that today. I love this message. I love it. And that's our quote of the week. If God put Goliath in front of you, he must believe there's a David inside of you. I believe that completely. It's time for you to start believing it too. All right? Peace, y'all. Now go get your hot melt and your L-glutamine. Go get your Sprint. Go to savingdinner.com and grab it. And don't forget, we have an event coming up. So April 17th and 18th, put it on your calendar. All the information will be going out next week. And for you to all be here, my people, in the same place, I might just cry. I can't wait. Appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for being here. And again, share this with somebody that you know who is struggling and perhaps feeling a little overwhelmed. You know what to do. Bye, guys.